We are
Two girls.
on a fast track. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Girls on the Fast Track, episode 40. Lynn, how are you today?
Episode 40. Oh my gosh, I am so good. Marie, how are you today?
I'm good. It's Friday.
Friday.
Usually I don't work on Friday afternoon, but yeah, something came up and I'm gonna have to work, but it's okay because it's a beautiful day outside.
And it's Friday the 13th. Are you
It is.
superstitious?
Yes. Well, I used to be.
Yes.
But now when you get older, you kind of wondering, why was I so suspicious before? I have a black cat. I have a black cat. I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's not that I have superstition or whatever, but it's a total other meaning. It's like Halloween.
Hmm.
Halloween is not a bad night. I mean that
Yeah.
ghosts or witches are going to cross over. It has nothing to do with that. So no, I used to be superstitious. The only thing I still do is if I accidentally drop some salt, I'm going to do
Yeah.
a shot. And I don't know. That's the only thing I
Okay.
still do.
Well,
I'm going to do a salt shot on the back. Yeah.
I sure don't go out of my way to walk under ladders, or if a black cat crosses my path, I'm kind of going, "Oh, isn't that interesting?"
Actually, they're supposed to be lucky.
Lucky.
Actually, they're
Okay.
supposed to be lucky cats. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
know. Good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Well, it's not October 13th when this airs, so we may not want to spend too much time
No.
talking about
No,
superstition.
we have a great topic right
We
after.
do
We
have a
thought it
good
would be a
topic.
great following of creating confidence, which we had the last time. So, who do you need to surround yourself with, and
Yeah.
why? Why?
Yes. Who do you need to surround yourself with and why? And there's a couple of things that came to mind as I was preparing for this. First of all, Dr. Ivan Meisner, who's the founder of BNI, has a book called "Who's in Your Room?" And he has two. That's
That's
the
the
en
French
français
version. Yeah.
version. Yes, very nice. He's got two versions of it. It's the first edition came out. Now we're on the second
Yep.
edition. And it really, what I've taken away from those teachings and from those books is that we really need to be careful about the people we surround ourselves with.
Yes.
And I think that it's important every once in a while to do a check on who you're hanging out with. Because Jim Rohn, who's a famous inspirational speaker, motivational speaker, he said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So
I
in
agree.
in a mother's terms, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with, right? So who are the people that you're hanging out with? And I realized a long time ago that people that bring me down, or like my energy can be too high for some people,
Yes.
right? And I find that when I'm in, when I'm with people who bring me down too much, I start to not feel my best. I
Oh,
start
it
to
totally
feel
affects us.
great,
It totally affects us.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you noticed, Marie?
Well, actually, and this is that's what they talk about in the book, because once you have somebody in your surrounding
Hmm.
and they don't make you feel good first, maybe you love or like that person, still you love
Hmm.
and like that person,
Yeah.
but think of what it brings to you in your general life. It could be at work, it could be at home,
Yeah.
in an event. You're going to tend to not to go talk to that person because they're going to talk all negative all the time.
Yeah.
So for me, my attention, if you start, it's okay if I ask you how are you doing and you say, oh, well, not really good, but you know what,
Mhm.
let's talk about something else. Or if we're really close friend, you can lean on me for anything. But some people, they're always
Always.
being
That's the
negative.
key. That's the key. Are they always bringing that woe is me and, always complaining about things? Are they always bringing that to the table, like whenever you're
Yeah.
talking, right?
Yeah.
And you almost dread hanging out with that person because it's going to be emotionally
Yeah.
exhausting, right?
Yeah.
So, and the worst thing is when it's family members that you kind of have to spend time with, or you live with, and they're like this. So there's a couple of things. First off, and Tony Robbins says this really well too, guard the door to your mind. Be very, very careful what you let in to your mind and to your brain, because every single thought that you think is not true.
Exactly.
Our thoughts can lie. And the worst thing we can do is not challenge our thoughts, right? So that's our thinking. So when we bring people, and when I go back to Dr. Ivan Meisner's book, Who's in Your Room, he talks about, you know, letting people in, right, to the room that is your
And you only have
environment.
one door. They can
And you
come
have
in,
one door.
but they can't go out. So you would be
Yeah.
way more careful of who you let in, because you know
Yes.
this kind
Because
of
you
a,
know they can't leave.
imagine
So
that.
it's a very cool metaphor
Yep.
for, you know, who we surround ourselves with. And, you know, the good news is we can get rid of people that are not, don't belong in our room anymore. That's the good news, right? We
Yeah.
can, you know, we can kind of break off the friendship, or we can kind of move in another direction. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes not so easy. But, you know, it's important for you to know, who do you want to surround yourself with? And, you know, there's a couple of things. First off, I love hanging out with people who love life. Like I just love hanging out with people who find joy and find, you know, oh my gosh, look at that tree. Oh my good. Like, did you notice the moon this evening, or the sunrise was beautiful, or, you know, just noticing life, like
Little things
amazing.
that makes us happy. We want to
Well,
surround ourselves with
and I
that.
tell you, if you are noticing the flowers, if you're noticing the moon, if you're noticing, right, then you're noticing other things that are going well for you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
The other thing, people who just have good hearts. That's what my husband says. He says he likes to hang out with people who have a good heart, meaning nobody's perfect.
Of course
We're
not.
going to mess up. I'm going to have things that happen. And some days I may show up and I may be, you know, really down and out. But most of the time I don't. So when I do show up and I need a shoulder to cry on, I'm more likely to have somebody there, because that's not normally me. They know
Exactly.
that person knows that I need them. So people who are good, have good hearts, people who challenge you. Okay, come on, guys. Like it's really important to have somebody. I always like to have somebody who is that opposite thinker to me. That person who's not, it's not that they're always complaining, but they find what's wrong
Yep.
and they're able to find that detail, because you know what? These glasses are rosy. I look at things through rose-colored glass. I find the best. I need somebody on my team and somebody I work with, or somebody at home, happens to be my husband, who is very good at saying, but did you look at it this way? Or did you ever stop to think that maybe, right? And totally spins it around. And I can choose whether I accept that or whether I reject it.
Exactly.
But
My
I
husband is kind
really
of the same.
I appreciate the challenge. I
Yes,
really do. I
yes.
appreciate the challenge, because I tend to just see the good in most, and in all.
I'm like that all the time. Everybody,
Yeah,
unless you give me a proof that you did that for a bad purpose or whatever,
yeah,
everybody for me is kind. Everybody has a big heart.
yes,
Everybody's honest.
yes.
That's one of my biggest not bad habit or bad thinking,
Core
but
core belief. It's a
exactly,
core belief. Yeah,
exactly. For me, everybody has a good heart. I mean,
yeah.
how can you not have a good heart? Let's say if you work, I don't know, for elderly people, if you work in a old folks home,
Mhm.
you should have a good heart. You should be honest. You should not steal. You should not do stuff like that. And at some point, you tend to see always the good stuff in people.
Yeah.
And then I have my husband who says, there's something that I don't
Something
feel
not right.
about
Yeah.
that person. Be careful when you talk
Yes.
or do business with that type of person. So yeah, it's my husband as well.
Yeah, so it's important to have. Isn't it interesting that we're married to that type of person? So people who challenge you, and I actually pride myself, and it's part of my own mission statement, to inspire, empower, and challenge people to their highest potential. So I am going to be that person who's going to ask a bit of a challenging question. So if you want me in your group, then you know that I'm going to be the one to, yeah, I'll be your biggest cheerleader, but I'll also be the one to say, you know what, you said you were going to do this. Are you still doing it? Like, what's going on for you, right? And I'll be
Or my favorite question you ask me, what are you going to do about it?
to do about it, right? And I really hope that if I'm in a position, and I have been in a position where, I've been kind of feeling like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, or I'm not, and if somebody said, what are you going to do about it? Right. And sometimes you need a little bit of coaching from your friends.
Yeah.
And people who listen, right? People who listen. When you feel listened to, oh, your world is so different. And I'll tell you, every single day, I talk with people and I listen to them, and they just feel so good that somebody listened to them and actually heard them. So by listening, it's not just about, what you're doing right now, Marie, listening to me, but it's also about you kind of saying, let me see if I've got this right. And then you kind of summarize what the person says. It's like, yes, you get me, you understand me, right? So people will feel that connection when you listen, but when you actively listen, which means that you're also going to come back to them with, let me see if I understood that correctly.
And when you do active listening, there's always something you can say or do to help out. If you have a good heart,
Yes.
like you do, like I do, we have a tendency to listen in order to help. What is your biggest challenge? Do you have any health issues? Do you need to be referred to somebody specific? We are active listeners because we were trained that way in BNI mostly, but we do that because we want to help. And that's important as well, because if we do it, we love to have somebody to do it for us as well.
Yes, of course. So we've got to surround ourselves with those people. So now let's flip it and let's just say, what if your world is surrounded by negativity? Like, what if, you're living in a home where there's a ton of negativity? Well, first of all, I'm going to suggest you've got to do the work for yourself, right? So you can't change somebody else, but your changes provide a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And that ripple effect may be good, bad, or ugly. We don't know, right? But the important thing is that when you work on yourself and you become the best version of yourself, maybe you need coaching, maybe you need therapy, maybe, right? You might just need somebody to talk to who's outside of your home, to not to just unload on and to dump all the negative, but to actually talk constructively. This is my problem. This is, I don't know what to do about it. What are your suggestions? Like those, that's when a coach and a therapist can be really helpful, because they're third party, right? And so if you're in a situation like that, then it's really, really important to do your own work. There is so much self-help and so many self-discovery courses and books, and all free on the internet, to be able to, help you become that best version of yourself. And I would say you start with your values. You start with what's important to you. And then you kind of get an idea of the people who you surround yourself with. What are their values? And you don't have to ask them that question. All you need to do is look at their behavior.
Yes.
Right? Are they supporting? Are they loving? Are they listening? Right? Are they doing those things that make you feel empowered?
Yes.
Yeah.
And why it is so important for me personally, I think that because if you always let people drain you down, I had a toxic friendship like for practically 10 years a while ago, always helping her out. It didn't matter to me because I loved that person. She was my best friend. She had problem with her boyfriend. He was like, hitting her and stuff like that. So I went like 3 times to help her out. I didn't want her to stay in that toxic relationship, but by doing that, it was bringing me down. And I was always like, my batteries were always down because I gave her all my energy in order to help her. But it took like 3 or 4 times, if I remember correctly, for her to get out of that toxic relationship. So by then I said, no, there's no more. I can't do anything more for you. You
Yeah.
have to do it on your own. That's
Yeah.
why it's important to surround yourself with friends that will be there for you if you need, and you will be
Mhm.
there for them if they need. It's same thing at work, colleagues, or even I remember when I lost my job in the corporate world. We had a Christmas party right after that, and I was still invited, of course, because I lost the job. It was in November, so we had the Christmas party, and they wanted me to be there. And my boss fell into my arm crying. He's the one who kicked me out, and he was crying in my arms. I said,
Mhm.
and I was tapping his shoulder. Everything is gonna be okay. I was the one who was comforting
Oh my gosh.
him.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So anyway, you have to be careful, and you have to take a stand at some point to say, whoa, that's
Yeah.
enough. I'm not gonna take that anymore.
Well, and I also think that, when we do the work on ourselves,
Yeah.
we also have a responsibility to follow through on what we say we're going to do.
Yes.
So if you're crying on somebody's shoulder and, and I am for setting a time limit. And I've done this with people. I said, you know what? I want you to unload right now. How long do you think it would take you to unload right now? And they might say, well, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, right? And I got them thinking rationally. I said, I'm setting my alarm for 15 minutes. Go. And I let them just, unload. And most of the time, they don't even get through the 15 minutes, right? And I'll even, kind of arbitrarily, if they don't know, I'll say, I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. I just want you to unload for 5 minutes. But when that 5 minutes is up, we're going to talk about solutions.
Yes.
Right? And we're going to make sure that you leave here in a better frame of mind and with the next step. So if that's me, I better make sure that I'm doing my next steps before I talk to you again.
Of course, and it can be so destructive if you don't unload at some point.
Yes.
Some people that we talk about a lot about mental health, and mostly what's happening in, let's say you're self-employed or you have a huge business and your mental health is not good. It can be very, very destructive, not
Yeah,
only for your surrounding but for yourself. It could
that's
go
right.
very, very bad. You need
Yeah.
to unload at some point.
So we have a responsibility to take care of ourselves
Yes.
and to level up to the best version of ourselves as well, right? So
Yes.
I think that's the biggest crux here is who you surround yourself with is a direct reflection of how your life is going to turn out. Because if you get sucked into negativity and that vortex of negativity with the people you're hanging out with, that guess what? Guess what's going to happen to your life, right? It's really, really hard to do something positive when you got a whole bunch of negativity. So
Yes.
you want to make sure that you surround yourself with people who challenge you, people who inspire, people who empower you, and people who will also listen to you actively and understand you so that you belong.
Yeah,
So where
people who
can you find those
believes in you, people who believes in you.
people who believe in you?
We
Yeah.
we we often read, or when we watch some TED Talks and stuff like that, some speakers said, my parents, I would like to thank my parents, and
Yeah.
some actors and singer, I would like to thank my parents because they believed in me.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great homage to do to
Amazing.
somebody that pushed you up all the time and said, you're going to
Yep.
do it. Don't stop. Just look in front of you and go. Do it.
Yes.
Just do it. And
Yeah.
and I think that, yeah, people that believes in you and pushes you up are
Yeah.
people you really should surround yourself. And definitely, I can put the link of the book in French and in English.
Sure.
If people would like to get it, it's probably somewhere on Amazon. I don't know. I had it from
Yeah.
my BNI, so
Who's
it's
in
an
your room?
amazing book to read.
Mhm.
It's gonna get your mind to run a little bit and say, okay, this is something I really should start right now.
Yeah, and if you're looking for some organizations that can really help, if you have a business, you hear us talking about BNI. BNI is an organization that helps with marketing your business, but
Yeah.
you learn so many other skills. Toastmasters is another fantastic organization to help you with public speaking, but also relationship
Yeah.
development.
Yes.
That's one of the skills that I found was incredible with Toastmasters. So those are two organizations that when you walk in the door, they're going to accept you as you are, And as you go through the programs, you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to get a lot of feedback about, how you can do things differently and be the best version of yourself.
Yes. Well, we strongly recommend you to surround yourself with those type of positive people. Lynne, I think you have a quote for us today.
I do. I have a quote. And imagine your business and how much, stronger your business is when you surround, like I get to surround myself in my business with people I want to work with. I love that. Right. I just love that. Yeah. So this is from Dr. Ivan Misner. I wanted an Ivan Misner quote. If you're always the most successful person in the room, you're hanging out in the wrong room.
I so love that quote. I love this guy. First of all, he's an amazing person. But this quote, I've read it before. And yes, say it again for our viewers.
If you're always the most successful person in the room, you're hanging out in the wrong rooms.
That's awesome. And I think it's in the book. I think it's one of the quotes from the book.
I think it is too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, that was amazing. And in the spirit of still helping and build trust amongst our viewers, next week, we're going to talk about how to help a small business without spending a dime.
That's right.
How can you help a small business without spending a dime? And always in the spirit of giving, giver's gain.
Giver's gain. That's right.
Well, Lynne, that was an amazing topic. You, as usual, you did an amazing job, and you just gave me the energy to go and continue my day. That's awesome.
Good.
I am so happy to have you in my my surrounding, my close friends, and yeah, I'm grateful for you.
I am grateful for you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and click for the bell for the notification so you won't miss any new episode of Two Girls on the Fast Track. Have a great day, Lynne.
Bye, everyone.
We are
Two Girls on the Fast Track.